Hey everyone, it's Kelly with PicoPixel. So in our last video, we used our AI to build a version of Snake for our website. And the results were pretty good. I was honestly pretty impressed with what it was able to put out. The mechanics were good, the controls were good, it fit our sort of neon retro aesthetic that we're looking for. I even asked it to introduce its own gameplay elements and surprises, and it came up with the idea of a power-up, which I honestly haven't seen in a Snake game before, so that was pretty interesting that it was able to do that. So all in all, a fun game. Hopefully you've had a chance to go to the website, play it, try it out, leave a comment on what you think about it and ways that we can improve these in the future. So for our next game, I thought I'd maybe give the AI a little bit more of a challenge. We'll try to do a game that has a bit more logic than what we've done so far. And to do that, I'm going to have it generate a version of Tetris. Okay, so to get things started, we're here in Claude where we put in our prompt and have it generate the game. Now, so far I've taken my original prompt and run it through Claude and had it regenerate a prompt that I thought might be a little bit better. But this time around, I think we're going to try to one-shot it and use my original prompt that I have here, and we're just going to see what it can come up with. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in here, and we're going to send it in there, and let's see how we do. Okay. And while we wait for it to generate, I thought I'd go over the history of Tetris a little bit just so that we can get some context for what we're building. So Tetris is a puzzle game that hopefully doesn't need much introduction. It began during the Soviet Union in the Cold War, and in 1984, a young computer engineer named Alexei Pajitnov was working at the Soviet Academy of Sciences in Moscow, and he created what would eventually become one of the most addictive games in history. He was actually inspired to create Tetris by a puzzle game called Pentamino, and he simplified the concept using 4 block pieces, which is where the word tetra comes from in Greek, and he added the element of falling blocks. The game first was designed to work on a really old Soviet computer called the Electronica 60. It had simple text characters to represent the blocks, and even though it had those humble beginnings, the core gameplay was instantly captivating. You arrange falling geometric shapes to create complete lines that then disappear. It was simple, it was elegant, but it was super addictive. And so the real turning point came when Henk Rogers, who was a Dutch video game entrepreneur, discovered Tetris at a Las Vegas trade show in 1988. And he immediately recognized its potential, and he set out on a pretty dangerous journey to the Soviet Union during the height of the Cold War so that he could secure the rights to the game. So after he navigated a maze of Soviet bureaucracy and competing claims, Rogers finally secured the console and handheld rights. So this led to the game's inclusion with Nintendo's Game Boy in 1989, and that pairing would eventually go on to sell 35 million copies and cement both Tetris and the Game Boy in video game history. The Game Boy version that had its iconic music and portable format introduced Tetris to a global audience and helped make it a household name. Meanwhile, Pajitnov, the original creator, didn't receive royalties until years later due to how the Soviet system worked at that time. He eventually emigrated to the United States and in 1996 finally regained the rights to his creation when he co-founded the Tetris company. And obviously today Tetris is on basically every gaming platform that there is. There's over 200 million copies sold on mobile devices alone. All in all, not bad for a game that was created on outdated Soviet equipment during the Cold War. So, really, in the world of gaming, there's been few titles that have achieved the, sort of universal appeal and staying power of Tetris. And honestly, the brilliance lies in its simplicity. It's a perfect balance of challenge and reward. It transcends language, culture, and generations. So, as we build our own version here on PicoPixel, we're kind of connecting to this really remarkable legacy of, one of the most perfect puzzle games ever created. Okay, and so here we are. It generated it. Let's go over here on the side and see if it actually finished or if it got interrupted. So yeah, it got interrupted. So we're going to need to do a little bit more tweaking to get this thing working. I'll do that real quick and then we'll cut back and we'll see what the game looks like. Okay, and so here we are. We got it working. I actually had to run it through Claude one more time and basically say, hey, you lost your context memory, so go back through and finish this up and only spit out the new part, and I had to put that all together. And we eventually ended up here, so, we made it. So here's where we are. It looks pretty good so far. Let's go ahead and hit start game and see what it looks like. All right, so right away, you see all the classic elements. We got the shapes. We have a ghost image at the bottom showing sort of where it's going to land. We have a preview of what's coming up next. If we try the controls, if we can rotate it, and we can hit spacebar to drop it all the way down. And yeah, that's all looking good. We did have a pause key, so if we do that, that all works. So, you know, all in all, this thing works great. It's exactly what I want. I mean, it's Tetris. It's the game that you know. It's the game that you love. So, you know, fantastic. I think it did a really good job. Okay, I'm going to get this uploaded to the website so that we can all start playing with it. You know, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think the game is fun. Why don't you post your high score? We'll see who can get the highest score in the comments. And yeah, I'm looking forward to get this out there so that we can all play with it. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to keep doing more of these, and I'll try to figure out the next game, or leave a comment and let me know which game that we should look at next to do here. Visit picopixel.com to go check out the latest game, and make sure that you like and subscribe because it really helps us get the word out there about the site and the videos. And thanks a lot for watching.